So, as the title of the video suggests, I finally got a new pump for my pond. As those of you who've watched my previous videos know, my pump broke and, you know, that's kind of ruined my pond a bit. So finally, I can get this new pump back onto the pond, and then over the next couple of weeks, I can start getting my main fish back into the pond, such as this one here. You know, it's been a bit strenuous trying to get a new one, but finally got a new pump, which means we get the pond running again, get the filter going, and then over the next couple of weeks, months or so, slowly reintroduce these fish back into the pond. Been making videos on that as well. But yeah, in today's video, we'll be putting this pump back on. Before we get into the video, I just want to say a massive thank you to all the people who have subscribed to my channel. We're at like 950 subscribers now, nearly reaching 1,000, and I'm shocked really. I never thought I'd reach 100, to be honest with you. You know, it's a massive milestone, and I will be doing a giveaway at 1,000. So just want to say a massive thank you to all of you who've liked to subscribe. Let's just give them their morning food, just a little bit. I like watching them eat in the mornings, they're usually the most hungry, so. And it's quite warm at the moment. But in here it's about 20 degrees, so they're very hungry at the moment. But yeah, they're all happy to eat. Oh my days. But yeah, they're all very happy to eat. So this is what we were working with, and the plan was to disassemble the pipe here and separate it, and then attach the pump onto this end of the pipe, which would go on that end there and then into the pond, sort of around the edge of it. Now this was the old pipe that ran to the other pump. It was a bit longer, it was unnecessary to have it there, and it just looked messy. So we were just going to cut it up and then make it a lot shorter and then put the pump in at the other end. That way it just looks a lot better. So whilst I got to work undoing the pipe, my dad got to work connecting the wires together so we could plug in the pump. And trying to undo the pipe was not easy. I gave it a good few tugs and I got it about a centimetre off, and it just was not coming through. So I gave it a sec, tried again, and it just was not happening. And I pulled and it was not coming apart. So I left it for a bit, then my dad had a go, he couldn't do it. So we tried to put it together and then we got it apart. Was not easy though. Well, we did have a minor issue, but you know, thanks to a bit of ingenuity we managed to fix it. The issue was that the pipe wasn't wide enough for the for this attachment, but you know, we fixed it. We heated up the pipe, as you can see, and now it's a bit wider than the rest of the pipe, but it's now in. So now all we've got to do is attach that back onto the pump and then get the pump in. All the electrics are done, so all the electric in here, because this didn't have a plug on it, and all the electrics run to the box over there. So that's all wired in there, all wired in down here with the connector, thanks to my dad. So after we got over that hurdle, came the task of connecting the pipe back together and clamping it all down. I got to work on clamping the bit that goes on the pump. You know, you don't need to do this, but honestly, it was better to be safe than sorry. It just helps prevent leaks and such. And I spent a bit of time clamping that down. And then once I'd had that done, made sure it was tight enough, I got to work clamping the two bits back together since these were two separate pipes. Then I got to work doing that. Took me a while. You know, getting it tight is not easy sometimes. But after a bit of screwing, yeah, there was no issue really. And after all was said and done, this was the finished product. All of it was clamped down and all connected together, and it was looking good. Just having high hopes for this piece, really. This is what it looked like from another angle. The clamp was nicely on, and you know, it started to cool down by now, so it started to shrink around. So it shouldn't leak, hopefully. And yeah, next task was just getting the pump back in. This was a bit tricky. We had to move the net and such so that it didn't get caught. Bent the pipe round and then got it underneath the other pipe. And then once we got it underneath the poles, which is another issue, brought the pump round, connected it and chucked it in the pond. I had to move the electrical wire as well, just so it was out of the way. Once I got it in, this is what it looked like. The pipe ran all the way up here, through this pipe here. Then it runs to the box, which goes to the UV, which we have sat underneath this little cover here, the UVO 75, and that goes right into the filter. Once I got inside the filter, it was all flowing quite nicely. It was a good flow rate. I think this pump does about 7,600 litres an hour, roughly. And yeah, I was happy with the flow, so I just buried it back underneath. The filter's doing well. I mean, it's been cleaned, and I left some bacteria in the bottom, so I should have no issues. But I'm going to let it cycle for a few days before I put the fish back in. And then back at the pond, the outlet was flowing nicely. And with the air pump going, the fish looked a lot more happy than usual. Now it's just a task of clearing the pump up, the old one. The broken one. It's all cracked there. It was tripping out the system, so I mean, it's a shame I have to get rid of it, but I'll keep it as a spare, just in case. I'll also store this extra pipe just in case I need it, in case any of the pipe breaks or something like that. You know, it's always good to have some spare pipe on hand, you know, just in case any disasters happen, which you never know could. I'm just going to place the pump underneath here. This is where all my old equipment goes. Got an old fountain pump back there, two really old filters, another one there. That was a makeshift filter as well, but yeah, this is kind of my storage area for leftover bits really. We'll just pack it back in there. This is the old wire as well, get that right back in there. This is the casing, it's not really that valuable, but yeah, that'll sit down there for, I reckon, a few months, few years maybe, in case we ever need it. But that's it with the pump. And as for the fish, over the next weekend I'll be getting them back into the pond. So stay tuned for videos on that. I'll probably be posting about 2 or 3 videos, because I'll be staggering the release, because I don't want to put the big ones in first and then, you know, ruin all the bacteria and nitrates and stuff. There's already some goldfish in there, as you would have seen in the time lapse, but they've been fine completely. The filter was only off for about 2 days and they were still completely fine, but they sort of kick-started the nitrate and bacteria cycle in there. And then over the next weekend we'll get these guys back into the pond. Oh, this one's Fred, by the way. It's the friendliest fish I have. But yeah, be making videos on that soon, so stay tuned for that. The micro pond is doing well as well. These plants are starting to blossom. Having a slight algae issue in there, but I mean, apart from that, it's doing all right. In here I do have some small goldfish, but in the summer I'm going to be putting some patties and such in here, and maybe even a betta, because this is aquarium temperature sort of like tank, and it's perfect for those sort of species of fish, especially a betta, because how shallow it is. This is like natural habitat sort of for a fish like that, and you know, it's all balanced out and such. There is 4 goldfish in here at the moment, because this sort of acts as a filter in this pond, but it's just a little experiment, no filter, no nothing, but it's doing great. And yeah, everything's now running. These are the fish we put in there originally. They're doing completely fine. Air pump is on and the water is flowing. Plants are doing well. The lily pads are starting to bloom now, as you can see. They're sort of blossoming slightly. So hopefully in the summer we'll get some really nice flowers on those. And the reed needs a bit of trimming, there's a lot of dead bits on it. But yeah, the ponds are all coming together now, which is also great, considering the puncture, you know, the state it was in about 2 months ago. So that is it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And yeah, that's it.